would continue to work in the 70s and 80s on television. Sadly, in early 2000, he passed away after suffering from Parkinson's disease. The show featured a lot of miniature work. This was pre-computer CGI, and some of the models look pretty pre-made, like they just took like a Millennium Falcon and a Star Trek ship and threw them together. Sometimes there was just a little too much detail that you can kind of tell what they are. The model work on the show was done by Brick Price. Brick Price Movie Miniatures, which is now WonderWorks, has done tremendous amount of work in the field of miniatures. Pretty much if you have a science fiction movie, and it has been done in the last 30 years, if there was miniature work done on it, Brick Price and WonderWorks were probably a part of it. The Abyss, Armageddon, Transformers, Rocketeer, Star Trek, Airplane, and of course Project U.F.O. were all done by them. You should check out WonderWorks' website at wonderworksweb.com. It's kind of an old school website, kind of fun to see. They have great pictures of all their work, and they actually have a space shuttle replica that you could rent from them. So if you're ever making a space shuttle movie and have the budget, they do discount. Like most Mark 7 limited productions, the show was filled with guest stars. Dr. Joyce Brothers made a memorable appearance in more than one episode. This was the 70s, and I think by law, Dr. Joyce Brothers needed to appear on your show for it to be on the air. But you also had Maury Amsterdam, Gary Crosby, Stacy Keach Sr., Randolph Mantooth, Leslie Ackerman, and many of the other regular guest stars that you see in Dragnet, Adam 12, and Emergency. Today's show is brought to you by Bottled Gas. That's right, if you've got class, use bottled gas.
You move up in class with bottled gas.
You'll say, man, it's a real gas.
The modern way, the cleaner way. You move up in class with bottled gas.
You gotta love that bottled gas. The show, much like Kolchak the Night Stalker, had some amount of influence on the very popular series The X-Files, although probably slightly less than Kolchak did. It also is the subject of great confusion online. Since the show is called Project U.F.O, and at the very beginning of the show, they cite Project Blue Book, many people confuse the title of this show with the name of the project. So you'll often hear people who are looking for Project U.F.O referring to it as Project Blue Book. Now, some people even say that the show itself was often referred to as Project Blue Book in their local market, especially people up near Canada. I have not been able to confirm that, but I have seen regional title differences on other TV shows, so I don't doubt it. In Season 1, people were very excited about Project U.F.O, but sadly, the fandom didn't last, and after only 2 seasons, the show ended after 26 episodes. So it would run from February 19th, 1978 to July 19th, 1979. In a lot of ways, Project U.F.O was antithetical to the X-Files, so you could wonder how much it could inspire, since the X-Files looked at the government in a sinister fashion, whereas Project U.F.O was sort of reassuring that our government was looking out for us and just trying to figure out what was going on with all these UFO sightings. So in Season 1, you heard the theme to Project U.F.O. In Season 2, this is what the theme turned into.
These are unidentified flying objects. Are they proof that we are being visited by civilizations from other stars? Or just what are they?
lot of people have complained that season 1's was so much better, and I tend to agree, although the second one has a real 70s feel to it. The theme of the show was composed by Nelson Riddle. I mentioned Nelson Riddle in the Adam 12 podcast. Riddle has done a ton of TV shows and movies. He was from New Jersey. Sadly, he passed away in the early 80s. The biggest problem we have with Project UFO, if you want to see it, is that it doesn't seem that anybody has acquired the rights to release the series. Now, I've seen DVDs of it available online from sites that look semi-professional, but do not necessarily seem legitimate. I've inquired with some sources trying to find out if anybody knew if the show's coming out, and so far I've heard nothing. The show has occasionally run on television. I have emailed some stations myself, asking them to pick up the show, but of course have not heard back. But I have my fingers crossed. Project UFO is one of those shows that could easily be forgotten, but if you're an Adam 12 Dragnet fan, have an interest in UFOs and unknown phenomenon, it's a really fun show to watch, and it's interesting to see, even if it's just a dramatized version of it, how they would try to handle these investigations. And it's even more interesting to know that people who have been a part of Project Blue Book, which I've heard some people sort of dismiss as whitewashing or brushing things aside, that some of the people involved with it actually believed in UFOs in some way. Whenever I watch Project UFO, it kind of revives my interest in science fiction-y sort of UFO stuff, or at least in astronomy. And I do have a telescope, so I think I'm going to take my telescope out, maybe to the field not too far away from here. I'll set it up and look to the skies to see what I see. I'll tell you one thing, I'm not bringing a blanket. There's no way I'm ever going to fall asleep in a field again.
Beep, 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 beep. Here comes the satellite. Beep, beep.
Thanks for listening to the show. For more retro fun, drop by the website at www.retroist.com. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I'm at facebook.com/retroist and twitter.com/retroist. If you like the music that you hear at the start of the podcast, it's by Peachy. If you have any musical questions, you can email Peachy at peachy@retroist.com. Thanks for listening to the show, and I hope you have a great weekend.
Beep, 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 beep. It photographs the skies. Beep, 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 beep. And makes us weather-wise. Beep, 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 beep. It opens new frontiers. Beep, 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 beep. For future pioneers. Look at it whiz!
It must go at least 5 miles a second or it'll never stay up. Some of them can go around the Earth in only an hour and a half.
Beep, 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 beep. Around the Earth it goes. Beep, 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 beep. And that's how science grows.
This is the wheel he says he saw. This is the wheel he says he saw. This is the wheel he says he saw.
This has been a Retroist production. Goodbye.